Are you struggling with your mediumship development or feel like you've hit a wall or just simply cannot connect to give a mediumship reading anymore? Hi, my name is Mel. I am a medium and an energy healer, and I love to create videos like this to help you step into your full potential. In this video, I want to share with you ways that you can step back into your power and connect with spirits to give mediumship readings. Stay tuned. So one of the first things that I always tell my students when they are practicing and developing their mediumship skills is to just have fun. If you're not having fun, what is the point of doing it? Being a medium is not meant to be so strict and so rigid and just unable to enjoy what's happening around you, enjoy the moments of connecting to spirit. So the first thing I want you to do is to have fun. If you're not having fun anymore, step away from mediumship for a moment. Step away from the practice readings. Step away from the professional readings if you're at that stage in your mediumship. I want you to step away in order to allow yourself the freedom to have fun. Mediumship brings families and loved ones and friends together. It is a beautiful and joyous thing. But if you're at the point where it's not enjoyable for you, you don't want to give a reading, or you're about to connect and you have this attitude about you of, oh, let me just get this over with, that's a huge hint to you that you've got to take a pause and step back because you're not having fun, you're not enjoying it anymore. So first things first, you do want to take that step back and allow yourself to just breathe. It's okay to take a step back. Spirit is not going to say, oh, they stopped, we're going to take their mediumship away. That does not happen. Spirit does not take your mediumship away because you need a break. In fact, Spirit encourages breaks. They need us and want us to rest and have fun. You're here to enjoy life, not only in this human physical form, but also mentally and emotionally. You're here to enjoy life. You're here to connect and gain experiences. So when you are so hyper focused on being perfect in your mediumship and it causes it to not be fun, I want you to take a step back. I want you to reevaluate why you're doing mediumship work. Are you doing it for the vanity? Are you doing it to give it from your heart? Are you doing it to connect others? Are you doing it to prove something to someone else? Take a step back and reevaluate why you started mediumship in the first place. And this is really going to help you gain that perspective back and really enjoy those readings again. Enjoy the time that you spend with your clients, connecting them to their family and their friends. The next thing I want to talk about is being super hyper focused on mediumship. And I am totally to blame for this as well. When I first started my mediumship journey years ago, I was so hyper focused and zoned into mediumship that it's all I thought about. It's all I wanted to do. I would wake up thinking about it. I would go to bed thinking about it. And it really did not allow my peace of mind to be able to relax, to be able to enjoy other aspects of my life. I was so hyper focused that I stressed myself out so badly. I gave myself anxiety to the point where it was hard to eat, all because I wanted to learn and develop very quickly, which is something us humans want, especially in the society that we're in right now. We want things very quickly. We want them right now. And when they don't come right now, we feel like a failure. And I fell into that trap as well. Mediumship is something that should be taken slowly and enjoyed and have fun with it. Mediumship is not something that you should hyper focus on and race to the goal line of becoming a professional medium. I really did myself a disservice. I did my clients a disservice, my practice readings a disservice because I didn't allow anything else in my life other than mediumship And so when you are so hyper focused on it, you're really messing up your internal system with stress, with anxiety, with this pressure that you're putting on yourself. So this is another thing I want you to take a step back from. When you are super hyper focused and you feel that stress coming on, you feel that anxiety coming into your life, I want you to take a step back. If you're getting ready to sit down on Zoom or on Google or on Skype, is Skype a thing anymore? I think I just totally aged myself here. But if you're sitting down to give a reading and you have that feeling, oh, I'm so nervous, I don't know what to do, that is a huge sign that you have got to take a step back. You should be able to sit down in front of your camera, ready to connect to your client, or sit down with your client directly in front of you and be calm and ready to go, because you know Spirit is always there. You know that you have that connection and everything is going to run as it should with this client. When you are so hyper focused, you are doing a disservice to yourself and to your client. So I want you to take a step back from mediumship. Stop practicing it. Stop studying it. Stop thinking about it, and allow other things in your life to progress, other things in your life to flourish. And then when you feel ready, come back to mediumship, come back to those practice readings or those professional readings when you have allowed your body to readjust itself, when you've allowed that stress and that anxiety to subside. Something that I have noticed with my mediumship development students is that they don't trust the process and they don't trust the information. This is something I myself had fallen into when I first started. I always said to myself, oh, I made that up. That was in my head. There's no way that's true. And one day when I said, you know what, I'm just going to say everything. I don't care if it sounds ridiculous, if it sounds off the wall, I'm going to trust what I'm getting. What I teach my students to do is that when you sit down, the moment I sit down for a mediumship reading, everything from that moment on is from Spirit and it's meant for my client. And then when the reading ends, I give my little speech. That was the end of the reading. Thank you. A little speech at the end to signify that I'm done. Then everything coming from thereafter is me again. And so when I got myself into that rhythm of knowing, as soon as I sit down, this is from Spirit, and I'm going to know it's from Spirit and allow and trust that everything from that moment on is from Spirit, it really did help progress my mediumship. Trust is going to be a huge factor because we're so nervous of making a mistake. We're so nervous of looking stupid. We're nervous of looking like a fraud or not being able to prove that we can really do it. And you've got to throw all of those things out of the window when it comes time to give your readings. Trust is a huge factor in mediumship between you and yourself and what you're getting from Spirit. Trust is going to play a huge factor in your mediumship. So allowing yourself those moments of humility, if something is incorrect, don't throw yourself backwards and say, I can't trust this. This isn't right. Just allow and keep practicing and keep going. Allowing yourself to trust that Spirit is always there for you, which they are. Allowing yourself to trust that you are perfect just the way you are, that you are able to connect, that you are a medium. There's going to be many times where you give a piece of evidence and it's not correct. And there's many reasons for that. I have a video on it as well. I'm going to link it down below. But there's many reasons why something might not be correct. And I don't want you to shut that trust off when something comes across that isn't right, or you don't feel like, oh my gosh, that's not right. Spirit didn't say that. That didn't happen. When you get to a point where you're giving your readings, set the intention that when you sit down to do this reading, from this point on, I trust and believe that what I'm getting is from Spirit and it's for my client. Let me know how that works for you. When you're in those moments where you just feel like you've lost your mediumship ability, where you feel like the readings you're giving your clients just are not good or good enough because we put that pressure on ourselves, when you're in those moments where you just feel like your mediumship has turned off or you don't feel like you have gained any further clarity on your mediumship abilities, I want you to get your journal out. Journaling is something that I teach my students in my mediumship development course to do. Every time you have a reading, you write your information in this journal. You write what you got, what you saw, what you heard, what you felt. Maybe if you saw a symbol, write it down, and the evidence that you gave for it. Write down if it was right or wrong in this journal, every single reading that you do. When you're in those moments where you feel like, this is not working, I want you to go back to that journal. I want you to turn to the very first reading you ever did and start reading forward. You are going to see how far you have progressed in doing this. I highly recommend keeping a journal on every reading that you do. I highly recommend that you always go back through this journal to give yourself the praise that you need. Now, I'm here to cheerlead you on every day, all day, but it is also good for you to see with your own eyes, your own handwriting, your own words, your own work written down in this journal so you can see for yourself how much you have grown. I didn't start my journal with my very first reading, and I wish to God that I had. But when I did start, every reading after that, I would put into this journal. And when I had those moments where I was so down on myself, I went back and I realized, you know what? I didn't understand this back here at this time, but now if I get this sensation or I get this vision, I know exactly what it means. You can see how far you have progressed. So when you get to those moments where you want to give up, where you want to stop, where you think you're not moving forward and progressing, you really are. I want you to get out that journal. Give yourself that boost. Give yourself that confidence and that esteem to keep moving forward. Mediumship is not something that's going to happen overnight, and it should not be rushed at all. So you're not to be expecting on Monday nothing happens and on Friday you're a full-fledged Teresa Caputo, okay? It takes time, it takes patience, it takes practice, it takes work, it takes development. And over time, you're going to see that development through reading this journal, through going back through your entries and seeing how far you've come. A lot of what I see my students do is compare themselves to others through Instagram or through TikTok or YouTube. They're seeing what others can do and what others are providing to their clients, and it really hurts them and their self-esteem, and they feel like they cannot do it or that they will never get to that point. I also fell into that trap, and one day I had to say, you know what, I'm going to stop following these accounts. I'm going to stop looking at these accounts until I'm ready to come back to them. When you compare yourself, you're really harming yourself. You're not harming anybody else but you. It's really putting you down to play that comparison game. Yes, there's going to be mediums that are way better than you. There's mediums that are way better than me, but they've been on that journey way longer than me. I can't expect myself to start mediumship right here, and then in 6 months, I am just amazing and at the top of my game. I personally believe that mediumship is something that we are developing over our entire lives. I have been doing it for many years, and I still learn things. I still pick up different pieces of information. I'm still seeing different symbols and feeling different things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what that means. I learn about mediumship every single day. If I was to stay in that comparison trap, I would keep myself locked in this little shy, fearful box, afraid to step out of it, and I would never be where I'm at today. So if there's any advice that I could give you is to not compare yourself to others. And if you have to, unfollow those accounts for the time being. And when you're ready and when you're prepared, refollow those accounts and rejoin that piece of social media that you were once a part of. If it's holding you back, definitely I want you to unfollow or at least mute that. I know on Instagram you can mute. I don't know how the others work. I don't really pay attention to that so much anymore because I'm at that stage where I'm not comparing myself to others. I know that my mediumship is for me, and my mediumship is developing and opening and unfolding in the time and the manner that is perfect for me. And once you're able to get to that point, you're going to be able to turn all those back on and say, you know what, good for her, good for him. They are doing amazing. I'm going to be that one day. I'm doing amazing right now. I'm perfect in the stage and the position that I'm in right now. So comparing yourself to others is really going to hurt your progress because you're going to feel like you're not measuring up. You're going to feel like you're not doing it. You're going to feel like you're not doing it correctly, and that's just simply not true. Every person is going to develop their mediumship in a completely different way, a completely different time. What took me a year might take you 6 months. What took you 6 months might take somebody 5 years. Your progress is going to be dependent upon you and your soul and what you need for your mediumship. Thank you so much for tuning into this video today. I'm so honored to have you here. I'm so honored to be a part of your mediumship journey and to be someone that you can look to for information, for advice, and for that cheerleader. I'm so excited to offer my mediumship development course, Soul Care Mediumship. I talk about all this and so much more in depth within that course, taking my students from the beginning to the very top with their mediumship development. I would be so honored to have you in that course, seeing you rock it just as my other students are. The information for that is down below. I hope to see you in that class very soon, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.